Good evening, everyone. This is delicious. Don Juan, the Texas treat. And you are listening to the Countdown City WrestleCast.
Can I have your attention, please? Would all the freaky hyenas please report to the dance floor? Ahorita, it's time to shake that culo. Shake the culo.
Hello.
Shake the culo.
What's up, heels and baby faces? Welcome to a special episode of Countdown City WrestleCast. I'm your host, JC, and I'm joined by Mr. Don Juan, a.k.a. Ann Dromeda, a.k.a. Christian Valens. And those are the three main gimmicks we all knew you by.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I want to say, ladies, women, and girls over the age of 18, I have no idea why I'm on JC's podcast. I have not wrestled in over 5 years. I haven't trained in longer than that. And all I do is just announce right now.
Yeah.
But I appreciate it, making me feel very special.
The way you talk, you make yourself feel pretty special. At least you talk like you did. That was always your promos. So.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
But that's kind of the heart of this is people have asked, what happened to Don Juan? You said to yourself you hadn't wrestled in 5 years, and then all of a sudden you show up in a hybrid media video just out of the blue. So.
Yeah. Well, I never expected to have any like part of hybrid or anything. I just felt like once I saw Marvel doing all these wonderful things and actually giving a platform to the students to actually bring their families in and just to have practice shows pretty much is what it is I really like that. I wish I would have had that when I was coming up, where they had that kind of support system. We would just go town to town, and there wouldn't be a lot of promotion, there wouldn't be a lot of people there, so you don't really know how great you're doing or what kind of an impact you're making.
You're kind of early in the show, and the crowd just kind of we're just waiting for the main event kind of thing.
Yeah. Or like if you're in Poteet and you are the main event and there's still only 10 people there. And they're like, you still got to wrestle like there's over 500 people out there and we're doing a hardcore match. I'm like, okay.
For 10 people at the Poteet Flea Market, right?
Yes.
Yes, all right.
Yes.
I still remember that on the podcast.
Yeah.
I-35 South.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, let's start back when you were growing up.
Let's start back at the beginning.
Well, not too far back, but what wrestling I guess inspired you growing up? What did you watch as a kid?
When I was a kid, I would remember going to my grandma's house, watching TBS and watching the NWA.
Yeah.
With Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express, who I heard are still taking bookings.
Of course.
And hey, man, if they can still do it, right?
Yeah. I think you can too. We'll talk about that later.
I didn't say all that, but I'm just they're still doing it.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they're still doing it.
It's amazing.
But I saw I would watch NWA and of course WWF when it came out on Saturday mornings. Also World Class Championship Wrestling.
Yeah.
It came on KSET 12 after Three's Company on Saturday nights, and watched Kerry Von Erich. And pretty much the Von Erichs. I would really like the Von Erichs back when I was growing up.
Those
They're
like
the
Texas
ultimate,
thing. Yeah,
the ultimate baby faces. They're in good shape. They're good people. They could take a butt whooping and still come back.
What was, I guess, the one character or the one wrestler that really, I guess you could say, inspired you to become a wrestler? Like, what said, okay, this is the person I want to do this? What would you say that would be?
I always really like the wrestling aspect of it, and of course, when you come up, it's like, oh, Santa Claus isn't real. Even if you believe that it's real, you still kind of know that, hey, this is kind of choreographed, or hey, they're kind of in on it, and it's a performance as well.
Yeah.
So I always thought that was cool, and the one character that really blew my mind was Goldust. And the reason why is because everybody knew that was Dustin Rhodes. Everybody saw him with Dusty before, and he just what's great is he didn't have the pride to say no, I'm Dusty Rhodes, I'm going to do what I want to do. He took a chance. He had a great gimmick. He performed it really, really well, and it went really well with him. And he really surprised me because he had reactions either way, like people that liked him. They really liked the way he was, or somebody just really, really hated him because, he was LBGTQ, and, and that's
before it was okay. Yeah.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And before, yeah, it was really brought into the spotlight. And I like that it was also kind of like an Exotico gimmick if you think about it, Americanized. And yeah, so after that, you know, it just really made me want to be a performer. And not necessarily like the technical wrestling. I like the technical wrestling, and I got pretty good at that. But like I could never be like the ROH guys where, man, they have like 20, 30-minute chain wrestling matches. I'm like, I would just
There's
get
a lot of
bored
adrenaline
that.
in those matches, yeah.
Give me the baby powder, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, give me an armbar, baby powder you, and then, you know, disqualification, you know, just to get the reaction, you know? So,
Yeah.
Goldust was really good. Of course, The Undertaker, you know, who doesn't like The Undertaker? And I really liked the heels growing up because, you know, with my upbringing, you know, I didn't really like the good guys. You know, I never seen Star Wars.
Uh-oh.
So, there's that. Hit me up if you have a problem with it.
You'd be surprised how many people haven't seen it.
Mandalorian?
Mandalorian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to see it.
We might have to give you a crash course on it, so we'll see.
I don't know.
You might get
We'll
impressed
see.
like that.
All right.
Where did you get started? Who was your trainer? I want to say it was Rudy Boy. Is that where you got started?
Well, that was he was actually my second trainer.
Okay.
First trainer I started was back when I was I think I was 20, and I would go watch ACW. Was that what it was? Where with Prince Fontnote?
Yeah, ACW.
Yeah.
That's who Marvel mentioned his or so.
Yeah, they started back in the flea market.
Yeah.
And man, it's like not to be mean because I had a big part to play in a lot of these types of matches, but I just love like the matches that are just like not that great.
Yeah.
And I'm just very entertained by them, you know, because I don't know, it's like watching your kids trying to act out like a play, you know, it's just kind of funny to me. But I really enjoyed it. It was very entertaining, and I could see the entertaining aspect of it because no matter, you know, how crappy it looked, you know, that old lady is still getting upset, and she's still
She's still cussing you out.
Exactly, and you still get the reaction. So I was interested in joining wrestling, so that's where I met Marvel, and I actually was training with Prince, and he had a co-trainer named Joseph. And he wrestled as Iron Man back in the day, or he said he did, because so my first day of training was kind of weird, and I'm being totally transparent here, and you can call me what you want. It's not like I haven't been called anything, everything before anyway. So my first day of training, and you know, this is where it kind of shows like the gaps in, you know, great schools and like schools that they just
looking
really
for the
don't
money.
care. Correct, yeah. Because we were learning clothesline bumps on our first day of training.
Very weird.
Yes.
I've never trained, but even I know that's like you should be running the
ropes
and doing all that conditioning first.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. And that's why I like Marvel School because, you know, they show you the right way you're supposed to train. But so we went in, we did rolls, and I was learning rolls. We learned 3/4 rolls, and I was doing that. And then they're like, okay, everybody in, get to a side, tag in, and then you're going to do shoot off clothesline. I'm like,
have you even learned to shoot off yet? Like,
I didn't even learn how to bump yet.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
exactly.
But I was going to take a clothesline, right? So then, so they did it for me. I took a clothesline. I bumped, of course, messed up. I fell on my elbow, and I get out the ring. And you got to remember, I come from no athletic background at all. Nobody ever pushed me to anywhere close to my limit.
Nothing growing up, no sports,
I was
no.
kind of a mama's boy, you know? Yeah. Like I was the guy who'd be like, come on, Troy Aikman, I can't believe you can't throw it 45 yards, and I'm throwing it 5 yards, you know, stuff like that, you know? Couch potato type, backseat driver fan.
Armchair quarterback kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So, you know, when I hurt my elbow, it hurt. You know, you feel that chip moving around in there. And, you know, so I go outside the ring, and as everybody's doing stuff, you know, I get emotional, and I start crying. And it took me back to 6th grade, man, because I got beat up in 6th grade in the school bus on the way home, and I couldn't control my emotions, and I started crying there too. So it brought me back to that time. But what's cool about that is Marvel, you know, he was the only one to come out to me and be like, hey, everything's cool, you know, don't worry about it, it's your first day. And he's the one who told me about Joseph because we had the ring there at Joseph's house. So Joseph, you know, like kind of like a snake, comes to me after training. He's like, hey man, hey Vato, I can teach you the right way, Vato. No, that Prince guy, he don't treat you right, Vato. I'm gonna teach you the right way. Okay. So I go, okay, I'll help you. You know, I'll do it. I'll try it. You know, and
Right.
maybe if I train on my own, I'm thinking Karate Kid. I'm thinking Miyagi, because you know I was a movie person. I would watch movies. So that's all in my head, right? So about 8 months later, I'm still learning front rolls, and not really learning anything else. And I'm being Joseph's like personal driver, pretty much, like every day that he would want to go to the store or anything, I would help him out with that. And eventually, Marvel, you know, he was still training with Prince. So they would train at night, and I would train with Joseph in the morning because he didn't want Prince to know that he was training me, which is kind of shady at first, you know.
Very much
And
so,
this is my first introduction to the wrestling business, so I'm like, oh, boy. But so eventually, I started talking to Marvel. He was talking to me about Rudy Boy and how he was from the Shawn Michaels Academy, and he was a good trainer. So eventually we went to the gym where the Texas Wrestling Academy was at, the former Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy. We went to go talk to Rudy. He was gracious enough to give us a chance and be like, hey, you just come and train, and you could just pay like a monthly thing.
That's
so
good.
that way we didn't have to do a big payment up front, because I was broke. I came from a broke family, and I didn't have a job at the time, so I was broke. So that's how I really kind of started learning like the art of wrestling, was with Rudy Boy.
Okay.
And I kind of went off there on a rant.
Yeah, it's fine. Did you ever have where was your first match? Was it under Rudy Boy, or was it in your first school? What can I say, school quotes?
Actually, okay, so that's where I got I was with Marvel at the time, where we were kind of hanging out and stuff. And it was actually before we started at Rudy Boys, we wrestled for Manny Villalobos show on what is that theater downtown, Guadalupe Theater?
Yeah.
It was a Labor Day event that he put together. I didn't have any gear.
I swear, like, rings just pop up anywhere in the city, and you can just have a match, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I did really well, but, you know, when I look back at it, you know, it wasn't very good. But at least I showed an effort.
Yeah.
But so that was my first official match. I think it was like May 20th, 2001. And
Still remember the day, though, right?
Yeah, because it was a holiday, so
Yeah.
that's why I remember it, right? And I remember that was the first time I didn't get paid when they said I was supposed to. So there you go.
Yeah.
But hey, it's okay. We love the business. We're hungry for it. We wanted it, you know?
Yeah.
So then after that, we went to Marvel. We went to Rudy Boys, and we were there for a while, for a few years, learning the craft. I really learned a lot there. Learned how to work, be technical, how to tell a story of a match, and just the psychology of it, which is good. So Rudy's a great trainer.
Yeah. And you mentioned you went with Marvel. Did you guys really at that point come up as a tag team, or were you still learning a little bit more singles? Like, how did?
Well, Marvel had a lot more knowledge about wrestling, and he had a lot more courage when it came to like doing moves and stuff. I was a scaredy cat. It took me a good like 3-4 weeks to learn a sunset flip, because I just didn't want to jump, and I'm like, how am I gonna jump over this guy? Look how far.
Am I gonna land on my head? That's
yes.
Yeah.
And remember, no athletic background at all. At all.
You had me fooled, because you always had one of the best moonsaults anywhere. I would
thank
say,
you.
yeah.
I appreciate it.
My wife and I always enjoyed.
Well, if you notice, I only do it from the second rope.
Yes.
So I know
That's
my
fine.
limitations. Yeah. Yeah, me and Marvel would hang out a lot. We were best friends and like brothers at the time. And you know, it's pretty cool that we reconnected. We hadn't talked for a while. A lot of it was my fault, but you know, now that I'm humbling myself, I'm able to help out his students, and I'm able to have fun with the announcing as well. Mm-hmm. So I think what he has is really special.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We've been to the school a few times. I've seen what goes on there. So, well, your career is up and running. What are some of your favorite places you went to travel to wrestle, and some crazy road stories you might have?
Oh my gosh! How much time do we have? Oh man! Well, the first time I wrestled at Ring of Honor was in Boston, and I wrestled Jacobs. And
wow. Yeah.
So as you could tell, I got eaten up in that match. Here's what's funny. I still talk to Jacobs, so we'll talk about it also. But what's great is you know, I was kind of the young guy, you know, like I was like the nice one also. So, you know, everybody wanted to get their stuff in and everything. And Gabe, of course, Gabe Sapolsky is the promoter of ROH, and I finally got a shot at doing a singles match with Jacobs. And Jacobs is great because Jacobs was good with Gabe, right? Like he was getting a push there and stuff. So it was just going to be a quick match, you know. But what's great is Jake comes to me. He's like, hey, man, okay, I'm going to give you all these moves, boom, boom, boom. And I told Gabe, you have a wonderful DDT. So hit me with that DDT. And this is Ring of Honor.
No pressure.
Yes, and in my debut match, my big move is a DDT. Yes. So, but I had a pretty lengthy run at ROH, considering, that it was kind of difficult to get there every time because we had to drive.
Yeah.
And we didn't get paid anything for it. But it was.
What you did get paid, probably paid for gas money just to get there too. So.
Huh?
But just what you did get paid, probably paid for gas money.
Oh no, we had to pay to go.
Golly, really?
Yeah, we had to. No, but back in the day, you're like, you hear all the Mick Foley. Oh, I went to Connecticut and I waited at the door until somebody gave me a chance. Whoa, you're also 6'4".
Yeah.
And you've been to Japan probably already too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different for someone like you still trying to just get up.
Yeah, but back then, I'm a new kid. I'm just blinded by I can do it as long as I, just keep saying yes to whatever opportunities I have, and it was a good experience though. I don't regret any time I had at ROH. I got to tag with Paul London against Michael Shane and Biohazard.
Wow.
And then working for ROH got a door open for FIP, which is good, where I got to wrestle Tony Mamaluke there, and I've got to wrestle with the Heartbreak Express and Brooks and Dunn. So I had a pretty good places to go to, and not too bad for never having a body.
the typical wrestling body, you could say.
Yes. Yeah.
What inspired the Don Juan gimmick? Who came up with that?
It was actually, oh man. So the Joseph, the guy I first started with, he's like, oh, here's what I want you to do, Vato. I want you to come out in a suit, and I want you to come out and you be the gentleman, Vato. You be the gentleman. You come out with roses. You give each girl a rose, and you do good.
Okay.
Right? So going off that gimmick, and then at that time, I was seriously into training. So, of course, I would play the WWE game that, whatever console had. And, I created my own wrestlers, and I was Dr. Payne. But of course I don't have the size of Kane.
No.
I didn't have the gear either.
The ability to pull off whatever finisher you gave yourself kind of thing. Yeah.
Exactly, right? I'm like, how do they lift all those people like that, right? But then when I went to Rudy's, I told him he came up with we both kind of came up with Don Juan, and I came up with Don Juan the Bomb.
Okay.
So it was kind of like, I'm Don Juan the Bomb. I come out like I'm the ladies' man, and it's funny and stuff like that. And he never really liked the bomb part, but he liked the Don Juan part. So he always that went off with the Don Juan, yeah. And he's actually the one, that made me start dancing, because I did not want to dance. I just came out like, oh, I'm all that. I'm gonna make people pissed off. And he's like, you start dancing when you come out. I'm like, I'm not gonna dance. Why? Why would I dance?
Find a guy with his girlfriend next to him, give the rose just to build.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I don't need a dance. I'm already over.
Yeah.
No, but I was a lot more timid back then. Now I'll dance. Do you want me to dress up like a woman to dance, or dress up just as myself to dance? I don't know.
Unless they're one of the same, right?
Yeah.
The classic Don Juan singlet had your name, had a rose. Mm-hmm. Who made all your gear for you?
Oh man, it was a gentleman in Mexico. I apologize, I don't remember his name. But he made the gear. We would Rudy and I and a couple of the guys would take trips to Mexico when it was safe.
Yeah.
And we'd eat at the taco truck, because and then somebody actually made a joke saying, "Oh, it's Pedro." I'm like, you can't make jokes like that around here. Yeah. It's not dog breeding. So then we'd go across the border. We'd go to the gentleman's house. We'd make the gear. We'd eat pancakes. His wife was very nice. Usually somebody would clog up his toilet because they have low water flow. It wasn't me. And they'd measure us for gear and stuff, and just come back with that. And it's real expensive trying to make it. And with what some wrestlers get paid, on the indie scene, you have to invest a lot of your own money in there. And when you're picking to do shows over working a steady job, it's very hard to afford that.
Yeah.
So I did what I could with, but I know my gear wasn't always the best, and especially going to Ring of Honor. And I had that singlet before the Don Juan was put on it.
Yeah.
So I looked jobber central right there. and then here's a fun fact. I didn't have wrestling boots, so I bought boots off the maker, the gear maker. Yeah, but he wears size 12, and I'm a size 10. So I always had the Ronald McDonald kind of extra couple of inches right there.
You just like stuff it with socks just so it would fit better, kind of
No,
thing.
no, I just
let it ride.
Yeah, just go with it, man.
Yeah.
As long as they attach at the calf, I'm good with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're most famous as a Texas Tree with Marvel, Don Juan. I mean, that was such a big thing for so many years, and then all of a sudden the big change. Obviously, it was a big deal when it debuted on RCW here, but I happened to be at the show in Tyler where you first debuted Andromeda.
Yes.
What was the inspiration behind that? Why the change you felt?
Yeah.
That you needed to do that.
Well, the Andromeda gimmick, I'm going to give all the credit to Hernandez for that.
Okay.
I was in RCW. I've been there for a while, and the big thing was, I was really, really trying to get to TNA at that time. I felt like I was in decent shape by then. I was taking my regimen more seriously. I was I felt like a ring general at the time. So I was just like, man, I just need that it factor somehow to make it. And Hernandez calls me, and it was actually me and Dalton that he was directing the call to, and he's like, Cassandro, they wanted him at TNA, but the negotiations fell through.
Yeah.
So just throwing this out there, they might be looking for an Exotico, right? So and he goes, how bad do y'all want it? So I'm like, oh, what? But after like 20 minutes thinking about it and pondering to myself, I'm like, man, it wouldn't be too bad, and if it gets me an opportunity to where I'd be able to have a contract and be on TV, then man, why not? And the way I always like to go into the gimmick is, when I'm Don Juan, I'm Don Juan. I'm the asshole.
Yeah.
I'm, sorry. You have to believe that.
That's
I'm the butt face.
Let that ride. Let it ride. Go for it.
And I'm the guy, who tries to get you guys upset. I'm trying to get parents upset, trying to talk about their kids.
But you always ask the girls if they're 18 before you.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're at
most of the time, yes. But so I told myself, and I'm like, if I do this Andromeda gimmick, I'm gonna go all in on it.
Yeah.
So I got some great gear made. I felt like I went all in with the makeup, with the gear and everything, and I felt like it went really well. I did a couple of TNA gut checks with the gimmick and stuff, and but it never just didn't really pan out. They wanted Cassandro.
Yeah, they didn't want to. They wanted the big name kind of thing.
Correct. Yeah. And even though I felt like I did a good comedy gimmick. I felt like I did okay. I couldn't touch what Cassandro could do.
Yeah.
So.
How long did it take to apply all the makeup, and did you do that yourself, or did you have to learn? I
Actually,
assume you had to learn how to put the makeup
I
on.
had my now wife doing my makeup.
Oh.
Hey,
Okay.
Barbie. And it would take probably about 30 minutes to an hour. And me, I was very OCD, very anal. I was the guy where call time's at 4 o'clock. I would be there at noon just to make sure everything was fine, just to make sure I had all my gear. Because you have that dream where you're about to go out and your boots aren't on.
Yeah.
Why the F wouldn't you have your boots laced up when you're ready next?
Yeah.
So I always had that fear. So I always showed up extra early. And so it took about an hour. Yeah. The hard part sometimes was when I had my makeup on already and I'm ready to go, and they're like, we got to talk about something in the match. So I'm like, well, there we go. Got to redo my makeup, feeling like Legion of Doom, Let's toughen it up a little bit, fellas. Legion of Doom style. I'm sure they had to go through that. We had to put their makeup on again.
Yeah. You ran out drama for a few years, and did you have a lot of fun with it?
I had fun with it. It was very eye-opening,
Yeah.
Because, honestly, there's a lot of, a lot of stuff going on with the equal rights with the LGBTQ community right now. And as me dressing up like that, I was able to see firsthand how people got treated like that. Get a lot of awkward looks. Get a lot of comments, even
a lot of homophobic comments, kind of thing, yeah.
Even though they don't direct it to you, you could hear it. And the worst thing I heard, and I don't know why this offends me, but I was in a match, and I think I was wrestling Steve McEnroe, and I was on the second rope about to give him a move, and you hear a guy in the crowd, man, that's a fat chick. And the thing that got me mad was, you try wearing this and looking decent in it, Yeah.
You should have looked at him and just blew him a kiss or something like that,
But also what surprised me was how many people really embraced the gimmick,
Yeah.
Like, I think they kind of saw the theatrics in it. Like, a lot of guys, like, you would think that they'd get really mad, but they let you sit on them and kiss them on the cheek.
Yeah.
Like David Conover, Honky Kong. He let me kiss him right on the mouth. of course I did my work thing,
Yeah.
but he was all for it.
That was always fun because whenever I brought friends to the show and it was the first time they're seeing your gimmick, I made sure they got a kiss on the cheek.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Well, I'm happy to help you out with that.
Yeah. So, now, I think probably the biggest thing that everyone always hated and everybody wanted, if there was ever like somebody that we wanted to win the top title in a company, it was you. And for so many years in RCW, it just never happened. They teased it once in that Battle Royal, and then they snuck, I want to say it was Keith Lee in there, and he threw you out because you had never gotten eliminated. Did that weigh on you a lot that you never won the title until like much later in your career, as I think it was Christian Valens when you finally did win the RCW title?
Yeah, well, for me, what I liked, what I really valued when I wrestled for a company was their transparency.
Okay.
Like I knew I wasn't always like a main event style person. I knew I had a good talent, and I knew I could carry a match, and I knew I could have good match with name stars as well. But as far as like titles, they really, when you think about it, at the end of the day, it is choreographed, and you do have to be picked to be champion. And I completely was okay with never really being champion. I liked helping like the young students come up, and I never really had a problem with putting anybody over as well.
Yeah.
I liked storylines. I really like promos and stuff. So as long as I kept getting that, I kept getting my time. I was good with it. That Keith Lee thing, that was pretty good.
Yeah.
Because that was.
Did
that was
you
good.
know that was
I
going to
didn't-
happen, or
no, I did not
You
know.
had the look of surprise when they threw you
Yeah,
out.
well, that's what made it, really, really good. It was a shoot, and but now, it makes complete sense, and that was a good one.
So they had told you before, hey, you're going to win the title, but then they just called an audible kind of thing? Is
Yeah,
that what it was?
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay though, and that was a long time ago, and of course my pride got hit, at that time, because I'm like, I'm the one who does all the, the most for the company, and I'm the one who sets up the ring and all that. But you can't really get anywhere with that kind of me attitude.
Yeah.
I have to remember it is a team effort, and you are putting on a show, and at the end of the day, it is fake. So
Yeah.
I'm not going to be mad at if I'm an actor in a movie, I'm not going to be mad that why didn't I win that arm wrestling contest in scene number 5?
Why do I have to die the first 5 minutes? Yeah.
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 Pardon me.
Me too. So we'll finally get into it. Great careers going on. At least we all enjoy seeing you in the ring, and all of a sudden, you just kind of disappear. Why leave the business? What happened?
Well, it was kind of a mixture of things. I had moved to Florida to try to do the TNA thing. I had gotten I guess you could call it an internship there. I was working with the ring crew captain there. His name's Bob Rosen. He's a fantastic man. So I was talking to him, and he lived in Florida with his family, and he said, you could come down here and you can help out with the rings. You can go on the road with us with the TNA crew, and then maybe you'll get a shot.
Yeah.
So I tried to do that, and I was there for 4 months. But during that 4 months, it was a very difficult time for me, and it really made me realize a lot of things. One, it made me realize, how nobody's banging the door down to see Don Juan wrestle or Andromeda wrestle, and so it was really like an eye opener, because every time I went to TNA, it was kind of like my dream died a little bit. And I'm not saying that it was a bad experience, because D'Lo Brown would talk to me all the time. I would get to know the guys very well, and everybody was real cordial. But it was just like, man, this is it was kind of just like at a different level, and I had to realize I wasn't at that level. Also, I really missed the woman I was with, who's now my wife, so that's a win. And I took the advice from D'Lo Brown, because she came to visit me one day, and he met her, and he's like, as soon as she walked away, he's like, "You better put a ring on it, or somebody else is going to." Like, D'Lo, okay, well, there you go.
So your wife has D'Lo to thank for the ring we put on it. She's over here. That's why we're pointing out. Yes. Yeah. Thank you, D'Lo.
But so by that time, I really missed her, and I really missed my daughters as well. It had been 4 months. I was in good shape because I was working out all the time, but there was just no opportunities there for me to wrestle or to even kind of get a dark match, or I was just kind of invisible there, even though I was still doing the ring and doing security spots. You know, it might have been my long Andromeda hair, but you know it was very hard to take care of also.
Yeah.
But that's the thing also, it's like when you're there, you know, you don't know what like, do you tell them I'm Andromeda or I'm Don Juan, or I could do whatever you need me to do, you know?
Right.
I'll be your monkey if
Well,
you
you
like.
would think they have that information on you, right? You know, I'm sure they have like an 8x10 or something, or some video or tape.
And that's the thing is like I never marketed myself as well as I should have, or as well as I could have. I always felt like, oh, you know, when it's your time, or when, you know, somebody will notice you and they'll call for you, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of like David from the Bible, they'll call for you, you know? But, you know, that never really happened. And then by the time I came back, you know, I was at Christian Valens, and, you know, I was already, you know, older. I was already in my mid-30s. And after the TNA thing, I kind of really had to swallow it and know that, man, this isn't going to happen for me. And that was very, very tough.
Yeah.
And after that, you know, it kind of started messing with you know, my emotions, my feelings, the way I handled stuff. And, you know, thank God that, you know, he saved us. God literally saved me. And, you know, I was a really bad point. I was starting to get like health issues also. For some reason, every time I was eating, I was very stressed out. I couldn't swallow my food whole. It would get stuck right here. And that happened for months. And the doctors still don't know what it was. Apparently it cleared up, but I just call it like a nudge from God. Like he knew that it was time for me to just give it up. He let me have my fun. He let me have a good, you know, experience when it comes to it, man. Like for never making it, for never getting that big contract, I got to travel the country. I got to meet a lot of great people. I got to meet a lot of great name wrestlers that are out there. And, you know, just kind of, you know, talk to them just like they're human beings.
Yeah.
And, you know, ultimately, as a kid, you know, that's kind of what you really want to do. So I at least got to do that. And, you know, I still have the experience of when I'm in the matches, I see the crowd's reaction. And I really like that, you know, that I was able to affect people for at least a little bit amount of time to either cheer for me or to boo me and still be able to get that energy out.
Just some kind of reaction.
Correct, yeah. But it was very hard for me to step away after I stopped wrestling and after I made that decision. It was very hard to even watch it for it was a good 2 years before I saw wrestling because, you know, it's not a lot. I don't know how many people experience like the death of a dream, but even as far-fetched of a dream as it really was in the beginning, you know, I always believe that, man, I'll do something here. I don't care if I'm a jobber. You know, I'm going to have a job with a big company, you know. And unfortunately, you know, they really don't. There's a lot of external things that they decide, you know, what they're gonna do with people as opposed to just looking at somebody who has a good heart or who tries their best. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's a lot of external factors that, you know, just weren't in my favor. But I'm a lot better now, and maybe that's why I feel like now I can at least, you know, get my feet back wet in it because I still have a love and passion for wrestling. You know, I go to the hybrid shows, I announce from, and man, I'm like, man, I kind of want to do it again. You know, like you see the crowd, and then you see the matches, and you're like, man, I could do. Come on, I could have done a spot like that or something. You know, but you know, we'll see. You know, the main thing that I regret from wrestling is I never really enjoyed it. I was always so focused on making it to either the next level or to having a perfect match or perfection or having people go, oh man, that was fantastic. And that never really comes, you know, because nobody really pays attention, only, you know, yourself if you really think about it. Everybody's worried about themselves. So the one thing I really regret is all the experiences I've had, all the matches I've had, everywhere I've gone, I've never really stopped to enjoy like the actual moment of it. And that's what I'm trying to do with hybrid. And, you know, it's pretty fun. Yeah.
What was the crowd reaction probably the thing you missed the most, or what would you say you missed the most being away from wrestling?
Oh man, I think what I like is I don't like a lot of people say whenever I tell my wrestler, they're like, oh, you don't look like a wrestler, you know. Yeah. And what I like about it is whenever I would get in the ring, I could do stuff and they'd be like, oh man, I didn't know you could do that. Yeah. So I guess like getting that type of reaction is the best. But man, when I was Christian Valens, it did feel good making people very pissed off. Yeah. Yeah. Like when I made that 9-year-old little girl cry, they still talk about that. But yeah, I feel bad about it now.
Not really. Not really. I could tell.
Well, until I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't. It was just jokes.
Part of the show.
Yeah.
What did you miss the least?
About wrestling?
About wrestling while you were away. What was the one aspect that you did not miss?
All the training, man.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like the hybrid guys do it the right way. Like from when I started, I would say 14 years, I trained consistently 3 to 5 days a week. And man, that's, I have so much more free time for activities now, know? And sometimes I get kind of restless, and you can ask my wife, I'm just like kind of fidgeting around, like, I'm kind of bored. What do I do? But, always doing the squats and the push-ups and the crunches. It's like, I know you have to stay in shape, but I'm like, oh man, give me a break.
Ever catch yourself doing 3/4 rolls across the living room just to, just
no.
make sure you can still do it? No.
I have bumped in the hybrid ring a couple of times.
Yeah.
Literally 2 times on 2 separate occasions, and I was done for a week.
Yeah. Just don't miss it.
Yeah, I'm like, babe, I think I'm ready to get back in the ring, and then I work in there with the student. I bump. I'm like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good at announcing.
Is there any chance we could see an in-ring return?
Well, all I'm saying is I've always wanted to wrestle the Rock and Roll Express.
Okay.
So, in all transparency, when it comes to wrestling for like trying to make it, or like, oh, let's travel, I'm done with all that. I had my time. These young kids are doing fantastic, and there's so many of them. Like, I'm so proud of Sammy Guevara for making it to AEW. Uh-huh. I've worked with him, and he was always a very humble kid. But man, I can't do what he does. You know what I mean? And back then, I had the mindset of like, I can't do what he does, but I have this and I have this, and it was a very prideful way to think. And now, I'm more real with myself, which allows me to be happier. Because if I do decide to do a match again, I know that I'll be ready, and I know I'm going to enjoy it. And actually, especially if we wrestle the Rock and Roll Express in 2020, Marvel, Texas Streets Rock and Roll Express 2020.
Book it.
Book it.
Somebody book it. Well, maybe
yeah, Marvel will probably be an asshole and be like, okay, it's going to be Marvel and Andromeda against the Rock and Roll Express.
Well, he did joke with me once that if he ever came up with his own sort of exotico gimmick himself, y'all would be the Texas Sweets. So
there you go.
There you go. It could happen. Mm-hmm. Well, while that may be the one match that could get you back in the ring, if it never happens, would you entertain the idea of becoming a trainer, possibly at Hybrid?
Oh yeah, I would love to become a trainer. Yeah, like I kind in a small way, I help the students right now with their promos. I help them kind of feel comfortable and slow down when they're trying to talk, because man, you have to talk at a pace where they're going to listen to what you're saying, and they're going to digest it. And what I like about Marvel students is they're very respectful. I never met any of them, but they're like, "Oh, hello, sir. How are you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, like, oh, I love your matches from YouTube." Yeah, I'm like, "What?"
Yeah,
like. And that's a good feeling, because it shows that the work you put in, even though it didn't get you to a certain level, it still wasn't in vain, And I still feel like I have a lot of knowledge I can give. And, as a Christian now, I know that whatever gifts you have to share them and not keep them to yourself. So I feel like it'd be a good calling on my life to help them out, or to even train. But of course, they have great trainers already, so I'm not going to try to step on toes or be like, hey, let me train,
But the charisma was the thing you always had. The promo work, that was always you. You were the promo guy of the treats, and Marvel always had the serious. That was all he could do. So
he was cocky, Chris Marvel.
He was cocky, Chris Marvel.
Yeah, he would barely even talk to me sometimes. Yeah.
But I think the most memorable one was treats in training.
Oh yes. The treats in training. That was my favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Because everybody wanted to be one. That's what was cool about it. Everybody wanted to be a TIT. Yes.
We had some questions that were submitted by some other people that are on the show.
When am I going to get to interview you?
We'll get that after this section. How about that?
Fine.
Cool. Tommy, you know him well.
Tommy. Wait, the white guy? White guy Tommy?
No, black guy Tommy.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Well, he didn't jump over the top.
I'm just playing, Tommy. Relax.
Well, you tried to get him a top rope spot once in a match, and he didn't jump like a black guy. So yeah. Anyway, he had a few questions. What match? A few. Of course he did. What match would you say defined your career?
The match I had with Amazing Red and RCW.
Yeah.
It was at the YMCA Boys and Girls Club. Okay. Man, I think it was breaking all the rules, 1 or 2. And it was a singles match against Amazing Red. I was in great shape. I was ready wrestling for Ring of Honor. And, man, that was probably the best match I've ever had. I felt great in it. There was even one part when Ikaika was, him and Kazushi were training me at the time. So Ikaika was watching the match, and I just remember like 2-3 minutes in, I cut off Amazing Red, and I just like, man, this is good. This is a good match. And I kind of like just like looked at Ikaika and gave him like a head nod, like, man, thank you for this because he really helped me step up my level of workmanship, and working Amazing Red was great as well. I just wish I would have gotten more opportunities to have like those singles matches with the ROH guys like Jay Lethal, and I will say, man, Kenny Omega, he's untouchable, man.
Oh yeah.
I saw him wrestle when I did a card with him in Jersey All Pro Wrestling. He just blew my mind.
This was long before the New Japan days.
Oh yeah. This was in New Jersey, and man, he has something special. So I'm very happy for what he's doing.
Yep. I guess that would be your favorite opponent, your favorite match ever in your career. Would that probably be the one? The Amazing Red?
Yeah. I love that match. Tag match. It would be me and Fast Eddie when we were at the Texas Wrestling Academy and Ring of Honor. Here's the thing, I can't find this freaking match, man. It's Wrath of the Racket, the first ever Wrath of the Racket. I think it might be 04.
I'm gonna write it down, see if I can find it.
It's me and Fast Eddie against the Carnage Crew, which consists of Masada and DeVito, I think, or Loke, one of those.
Okay.
And then it was, I don't remember the names of the other two teams, but it was a scramble match, and we tore it up. It was pretty great. Me and Fast Eddie did a lot of good scramble stuff there in ROH, and that's where, we brought that style down to Tiffany's Billiards with breaking all the rules.
Yeah.
And, man, that was a good time.
The Tiffany shows. I miss Tiffany's a lot. Those were fun.
Yeah.
My wife.
They tore it down.
Yeah, no. That sucks.
Bastards.
That was such a great place.
Yeah.
I hated it when it closed, and now it's torn down.
Yeah.
My wife has a question for you.
Uh-huh.
In your opinion, who is currently the most underrated independent wrestler, male and or female in Texas, ever really?
I don't ever.
Well, not ever, but currently.
Well, I will say the one person, and I don't know like what he's up to or anything, but the one person I felt had better work than me and more heart than me, and just like really loved the business is Andy Dalton.
Okay.
I got to, I was really close with Dalton. We were roommates for a while, but man, he always pushed me to push that envelope when it came to like bumping and spots, and he has a brilliant mind for it. And if I wish anybody could get signed, it would be him, because more than me, he puts everything on hold for wrestling, and that says something. I think every promotion or every company needs a few guys like that, where they have total humility to where they'll do anything that they're asked, and they'll do a fantastic job with it. So he would be probably the most underrated one. I'm happy for Keith Lee also.
Yeah.
He's a good kid. Funny story, Andromeda kissed his dick once. It was in a match, of course.
I want to say I think I remember
that was
that
a good
match.
spot.
You kissed a lot of dicks when you were in
Whoa,
Andromeda,
hey there. It was a good spot.
It was.
I was very smart with those comedy spots, I'll tell you that.
Female underrated talent, does one stick out?
Well, I don't really watch a lot of the independent wrestling now. I am pretty impressed with the hybrid students.
Yeah.
Maddie Renkowski and Jaylyn. Actually, Jaylyn had her debut this past hybrid school. Man, and she's doing her Karanas off the top rope already.
Wow.
I'm like, man, I never did that, ever.
You said no athletic background, right? So
yeah, no athletic background at all.
You say the hybrid students, who from them do you think is poised to be the next big main guy or girl in Texas?
Honestly, I think it would be Maddie Renkowski.
Okay.
Right now, I think she has the total package when it comes to she has the height, she has the look, she has the work, because of course look who's training her, Jazz. Man, that's a great trainer, and she has the mic skills as well. There's just like a couple of things she has to work on when it comes to like entrance and working the crowd a little bit, but that comes with time.
Yeah.
But I think she's really poised for it. As far as guys in the hybrid school, I really like David Kidd's energy. His energy reminds me of Kenny Omega's type energy. I'm not saying he's as good as Omega or does any type of moves or anything like that, but the energy you feel kind of reminds me of a young Alex Shelley also. And also Richie Garcia, of course. He's great. Yeah. And I also like, the Flamingo King.
Okay.
I love that gimmick.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know any of these people?
I know a few of them, yeah.
Oh, you do your research. You got to go to the shows.
I know. Well, we're planning to go this weekend. So
all right. Fantastic. Yeah.
Tag teams, what you were big on? Is there a tag team that in Texas right now you think sticks out as the next big one?
Name a few. Name a few. Yeah, maybe
I
do
don't
that.
know. I don't know.
Because like I said, like I
You
did
just
away.
play out of it. Yeah.
Here's what I did. I hate wrestling. Let me watch UFC now.
Ah, okay.
And so I like UFC a lot now,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna do that shit.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get knocked out.
No.
I've gotten tapped out way too many times already. Ask Ikaika about that.
Uh,
Lots of tears.
yeah. I've heard the stories. Believe me.
Oh, have you?
Yeah. All-time favorite B movie.
Oh man.
Yes.
Oh, Thanksgiving.
Thanks. I had a feeling.
Yes. Gobble gobble, motherfuckers.
Bleep that out. Classic line, but that's great.
Gobble gobble, mother.
Love it. Tommy, though.
This is still Tommy's
This
question.
is one more from. No, the B movie was mine.
Okay, I was about to
But
say.
Tommy and Mike
Tommy,
asked,
let's have coffee sometime, man.
"Why was
Come
Tommy?
on.
Why was Tommy your favorite fan?"
Why was Tommy? That's what he asked?
Yeah, that's what he asked.
Well, where's Van the Man? Because he wasn't available, I guess you'd say. No, what I like about Tommy is that, he would talk shit. Oh, you got me cussing
Yeah, well,
now.
you can
Okay.
you can say that.
He would talk poop.
You can talk.
He would give everybody a hard time, but man, he was a real team player.
Yeah.
He would really respect the workers, and that's something that not a lot of fans have. They have respect for the workers. So I really appreciate the respect he showed.
Right.
Even though he talked a lot of crap, he was always your friend afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. All right. Well, you wanted to interview me, as you said.
Is that all the questions you got?
No, I got a few more at the end, but I
Okay.
want to see what you got.
Okay.
All right.
Do we have to switch or?
No, you're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I am here, and I'm interviewing JC, and I only have a few questions. Actually, questions 3.
All right.
First question is, do you remember we had a Halloween show at RCW? It was outdoors, and you dressed like the Joker. Do you remember that?
I do remember that at front of a pizza place. Remember
Yeah.
that? Yes. Yeah.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Second question. Who introduced you to your lovely wife?
Oh boy. This is a fun story. It was you.
Oh,
Yes,
you're
of course.
welcome.
My beautiful wife. Thank you for that. It was you. The funny story is I think I was there for your birthday party. We had gone to play laser tag. Rest in peace, Laser Quest. I miss Laser Quest so much.
Laser Quest.
Yes. And funny is we were playing Laser Quest, and I think she bumped into me playing Laser Quest, and I don't know if she fell down or something. I just just shot her. But
There you go.
yeah, this is
Just
the
like
first
a
time I met her.
romantic
Yeah.
gentleman.
Well,
Shot ya, Papa.
and then we're back at, I want to say it was your house or somebody's house.
Yeah, it was my house at the time.
And you guys were just pushing me to go and just talk to her.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know her. Never even
He
met
was
her.
kind of snobby at first.
He
was kind of like, what is this, a Latina?
that was not it. So it was fine, I'll go talk to her. And I honestly, I'm so awkward with women. And she was just so completely turned off by it. So that was the first time I met her. But then maybe I made an impression because 6 months later we were talking and I asked for a phone number and she didn't give me a fake number. So we're good.
So there you go.
Yeah,
The real number always,
Yeah.
cements the deal
Exactly,
right there.
yeah.
Well, good.
So thank you for that. Yes.
Oh,
I do
you're
appreciate that.
welcome.
I have thanked you before. Now you're just trying to call me out, but I have.
Now I'm just paying attention.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So you, in your personal opinion, and this might ruffle a few feathers,
Okay.
what is your favorite of all time Texas wrestling promotion?
Oh boy.
You only get one. I don't want to hear a list of 3.
I only get one.
Tough love here.
Oh,
Tough love
boy.
here, Texas independent wrestling promotions.
Man, you make it so hard. There's a lot of great
Whatever
ones.
happened to Big Dog?
Who?
Big Dog.
Whatever. Who
I
cares?
miss that guy.
You miss that guy.
I miss a lot of people that probably aren't even in wrestling.
You want to know
anymore.
a story about Big Dog? That You might
Sure.
think differently about him?
Yeah.
Remember the one time you're wrestling him in RCW and he
Oh, yes.
powerbombed you through a table and hit you right on the edge of the table? with
Yes.
that? He bragged to my wife and I that he did that on purpose.
Oh,
We had an argument
yes.
Backstage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure he does that a lot. But if you know Big Dog, you have to show him some type of grace. And the good news is I didn't die that night, and I
Thank
still
God.
finished the match.
Yes, you did. But you're family, so that took it. That was tough for me to hear.
Well,
I didn't like the guy after that.
I did hear that also, but I did look at the video,
Yeah.
and he slipped on a poster,
Okay.
and which allowed that to happen. So he might have been trying to save face. Well, he's already a tough guy.
Yeah.
He fought Ikaika once.
Yeah. But I think one thing I didn't like is he didn't fully embrace the social media aspect of wrestling and what it is now.
Yeah.
Early on, those years, social media was like an untapped, easy marketing envelope, I think, for wrestling. And so many people would get on there and get a little butthurt if somebody was criticizing. Hey, use what's being said and just make something of it. Make something organic is what I always said.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
As far as favorite wrestling promotion in Texas,
what took him this long to answer?
because you brought that subject
Diversion.
up. Yes.
You reminded me of Trump right now. Uh-oh.
It's tough to say, but one that is near and dear to my heart because this was the first promotion I ever went to as an independent show in Texas. Yes, it is RCW.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
A win for Brandon Oliver.
This is nothing against.
There you go, Brandon.
This is nothing against ACW. This is nothing against BOW. This is nothing against XCW, which had some great shows.
I love
Battle
Knight.
Box was awesome.
I really love my time at XCW working
Yes.
for Knight, man. That was probably one of my favorite times in wrestling.
Yeah.
Because he treated me great. He let me have a lot of creative control over my gimmick, and a lot of it was very goofy, and it was funny. But he always made me work also. Like he would push the limit with especially Battle Box,
Battle Box was just a fun show, and it all just made sense. But
Yeah.
Why RCW? My earliest memory, I think it was Royal Rumble 07 weekend. We went to a thing at Ingram where there was like a signing with Ken Kennedy and Mickey James, and we saw a flyer. I don't know if you guys probably flyered the place for. Oh, there's a show Saturday. Hernandez and Homicide are going to be there. LAX. Let's go check it out. And the first match, I forget who he's wrestling, but the first time I heard Gemini chop somebody.
Oh, yes.
Just chops, just
I love
echoed in
Gemini.
Bel Air Baptist Church, and we were hooked.
Yeah.
And that was just, we were
Oh,
front of
those
the
were
line.
good times at Bel Air Baptist.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of good times at RCW. A lot of great matches. And what's great is, like, at that time, ROH was very big on the East Coast. And I felt like that atmosphere was coming to Texas with all the types of matches that we were having. And it was a real good time, real exciting time at that time for wrestling.
And that was really it. And it's very hard to keep a independent promotion going for so many years. And would you believe they've been around just as long as Ring of Honor?
Very nice.
It's very cool to see that. And I see a lot, like there's some good promotions out there up and coming. Heavy Metal I think is great. Dylan, I interviewed him, and he just has that passion for it. And as long as and I think Brandon's never lost that passion. As long as promoters have that passion, they're going to do great. They just keep going. So
very nice. Yeah. Very nice. Yeah. Well, good answer. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That concludes my part of the interview today.
All right. Then I'll ask you a few more.
Do you see my shark shirt?
Yeah, I love it.
All right, cool.
I got my Macho Christmas here. So it's Christmas time.
Nice.
Would you rather have one more match against Chris Marval or one more match teaming with Chris Marval?
Both. Because I want to win as his partner, then I'll beat the crap out of him. So that way he can know it was me. Well, I think you already said the Rock and Roll Express is who you want if you team up with him. That
one
would
more
be.
time.
I would train for them.
Okay.
Because I want to drop them on their head.
How long would you need to get back into ring shape? Do you think?
Probably about 6 months.
6 months. Okay.
I'm being honest.
Yeah.
No athletic background whatsoever, and 5 years only doing what? Elliptical? What do we do for cardio? Elliptical and walking dogs.
All right. Hey, that could get pretty strenuous.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Final question. Well, I got two more questions. What was I guess match you never got? What would be your dream match that you?
Goldust, of course.
Goldust,
Everybody knew that.
As Don Juan or as Ann Dromeda?
I came in to Rudy Boy and I go, I want Goldust when I first came in, and then I wrestled Eddie Perez. So there you go. That's my first.
Yeah, I guess he'll do. Yeah. So, and finally, what do you want your legacy in wrestling to be?
Oh man, I don't even know if I have a legacy in wrestling. Well, if you look at like the big aspect of things, if you think about it, we're growing and moving forward every day. So if I look at it to where, I'm done with wrestling, then, I'd have to be limited to what I've already done. But now, I feel very hopeful with this hybrid thing. I love announcing because I get all the attention, the whole show.
Yeah.
And if I would have known that, I would have been announcing for years already, I really like that. What I like about the announcer position as well is that I get to lift up the wrestlers coming out. not only am I introducing them to the crowd, I'm pumping them up because, as you know, when you speak, there's a certain energy that comes out.
Yeah.
So if you use that for something very good, you'll be able to pump them up. Hopefully they'll have a better match. Hopefully they'll have a better experience as well. And a lot of people freak out because I announce the referees also. But man, the referees work their ass off.
They're the heartbeat of the match when you think about it. They kind of keep it going and yeah.
And what I like is that at Hybrid we kind of let everybody know it is a team effort and everybody's kind of pulling their weight. So when it comes to legacy, I just want to, I don't want to be the guy that left the wrestling business and got bitter and then became like an angry wrestling vet, no pun intended, or just someone that talks about what's wrong in the business. I know that, no matter how old we get, we're continually moving forward. I would like to help out these students. I would like to really help them get to the next level if that's even possible for them. That would be great, and just having like any part to do with that would make me feel like whatever I went through, in my whole career, wasn't in vain, and I took everything that I've learned to be able to get them to a destination a lot safer, to where there was a lot of hazing back in the day, to where they'd feel safer, they'd feel more comfortable, they'd feel more supported, to where they do have a better chance of making it, And like I said, I wasn't planning on ever wrestling again or having anything to do with the wrestling business. But when I saw Marvel doing the student shows, it's something that really, really touched me, And so I reconnected with Marvel, You
called him or he called you?
I called him, because, in all transparency, Marvel has always been a great brother, a great friend. And I was the one who drifted away. I was in my heyday when I was like in my best shape was when I was the most arrogant and the most prideful, which really sucks, because now I see it and I'm like, oh, look at how you were acting, and you missed out a lot of good opportunities, and but now I'm able to see that and make sure that doesn't happen again, because we were a good tag team. I feel like now with AEW, if we were still doing stuff, we probably could have been in AEW, or at least got in a dark match, or at least gotten squashed by the Young Bucks.
Yeah.
I could get squashed like nobody else, But yeah, so as far as the legacy, I don't want my legacy to end until like I'm really, really, I guess on my way home to heaven.
I think you still have a career as a ring announcer, because I think what most people overlook as a ring announcer is when new people come out, especially at independent shows that you've never seen before.
Yeah.
They want to know who that is, how you introduce them, how you say their name. That's gonna stick, and then the rest is up to them to work the match.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
and I've gotten a couple compliments, and Rodney Mack. It's kind of bittersweet. It's my first show back the whole time, and I announce, and I'm studying from Bruce Buffer.
Oh boy. Okay.
And that guy.
Yeah.
There's no touching him when it comes to announcing. That guy, he is fantastic. So if I try to get to that level, I at least know I'm going to hit somewhere in the middle, which is still pretty good.
Yeah.
So I get a lot of compliments with it, and Red Dog said, you really missed your calling by not announcing before. I'm like, oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
It's never too late.
I missed my opportunity. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Well, the hybrid show. There is one this weekend.
Hybrid show. Toy Drive.
It's called the hybrid. Oh, it's a toy drive, right?
Yes.
Saturday, December 14th, 7 p.m. at the Hybrid School of Wrestling. So as I understand it, admission is free with an unwrapped toy. This is a
free admission. We are doing this with the Salvation Army, so that way we can bring toys to needy children. Just go to Five Below, Five Below, get a $5 gift. So, and it's pretty simple, and, you make some kids happy and you get to see a good wrestling show. Not only do we just have students, but we have Simply Luscious there. We have Bryson Scott there. Also making an appearance at the shows is Jagus Pliskin, and, he lets people he lets them know they have good DDTs.
Yeah.
No, I love Jagus. We get along pretty well.
Yeah.
But, you never know who's really going to show up also, because we had Chase Owens last time, and, there's talk about the Rock and Roll Express, Texas Streets 2020. I don't know. I'll let you know if I start training.
Yeah.
Well, I want to see it happen, too, as it's going on.
Yeah. You want to be in the match, obviously. Who do you want referee in that match?
Oh, man. Alex. It's
I was
going to
say, it's got to be Alex, yeah.
I'm sorry, Marty Green, but Alex and I
have
more
reached out to
history.
Alex, and Alex, I'm gonna message you. We got to get an interview on this because you'd be my first referee interview. So I would hopefully I can
That'd
get
be
that down
cool,
the
yeah.
line. Yeah. So
Very nice.
any social media for you, or you just
No.
clean slate?
Anything you need to look up on me, look up elevationchurch.org.
ElevationChurch.org. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the church I like watching and like learning how to be a good human being by watching it.
All right. Well, Don Juan, Andromeda,
Yes.
thank you so much for this.
That's
I'm very
it.
happy
I
to
thought
get-
we had another three hours.
That's where we're going
This
right
is
now.
part one.
This is part one, or is
This
there going to
just
be more
part
down
one,
the line?
yeah. I still have to tell you what D'Lo told me to make me realize that I had to quit wrestling.
What was that?
Oh, well, I guess I'll tell you now then.
Yeah.
So I was doing a couple gut checks for TNA, and I was doing the ring crew, and I was talking to him all the time. And he was an agent, so he was the guy who's get people to dark matches. And I'd been talking to him. It was about 2 years already, and I'm still trying. Hey, man, how can I get that opportunity? And he sent me a text one day, and it's because I would go set up the ring, do the gut check, and then set down the ring, and that really rare for somebody to go do that. And he texted me. He goes, "Man, Don Juan," he goes, "I wish half the guys here had half the heart you did." And I don't know why. It made me feel good because, man, D'Lo Brown's telling me that. But it also was like a slap, like,
Made you feel
you're
like
not
Rudy,
getting anything.
basically. Like made you feel like Rudy, that kind of sort of thing.
Like Rudy from Notre Dame?
Yeah, Notre Dame.
Oh, no. I never got to play in the fourth quarter.
Well, no, I mean just the idea being you had all the heart, but it was always external forces. It was
Yeah. But
Yeah.
now I've come to peace with it. I'm very happy with the time I have now. I get to spend a lot of time with my wife, a lot more time with my daughters, which is fantastic. Restoring relationships in my personal life, and just not being so selfish and only worrying about me.
Yeah.
And since I've been wrestling, that's what I've been really focusing on, and I feel like it makes me a better person. And like you knew me back then, and
Yeah.
I was a bit of a butt face.
sometimes.
I was a bit of a twat.
Yeah.
A little twatty. A little McQueeferson. See, these aren't bad words.
No. Not
But
yet,
yeah,
right?
but now I see that, and I'm like, man, I owe them an apology, so I guess I owe you an apology. Even though I introduced
we're
you to your
long
wife.
past it. We're long past it. You don't have to apologize for anything.
Yeah.
I don't even know if we ever argued about anything. So,
There you go.
well, there might have been one thing on social media.
Well, I
but-
know, like, we went to Chili's one time, and you bought me a drink, and I never got you back. So
Oh, okay.
there you go.
Well, you have to give me a woodchuck or an egg or a
Oh,
Austin East
man,
cider.
Woodchuck.
Well,
There you
cider's the
go.
only thing I can drink now, so it's all good. So,
Okay,
yeah,
well,
that
there you
works
go.
out. This is
Yeah.
the guy that introduced me to woodchuck, also. So,
Yep.
gotta say,
Who introduced you to Woodchuck?
this guy,
Mhm.
cider. Yeah.
Somebody, Tommy's like, what the heck's Woodchuck?
If you have any questions out there maybe we didn't get to, you can tweet them at @CCG_WrestleCast. You can subscribe to the Countdown City Geeks. Obviously, this is the interview you're watching right now.
Part 2 coming next week.
We'll see about part 2.
We didn't even talk about any stories on the road. Like,
I asked you.
yeah, but I didn't answer.
Well, I probably have to. Do.
I didn't tell you about the time that we're on the way to Georgia and I had to check the oil in my boxer briefs.
You know what?
Part
you
two,
Can, you
next
can probably.
time.
Yeah, part 2 we do this. We'll go all road stories. Maybe I get
I
you
didn't
and
tell you
Marvel
the
together
time.
and do road stories.
We went to Flying J's and I had to bump in an Arby's parking lot just to get back in the van. Part 2
Part two.
coming soon.
We'll reach out to Marvel and we'll get the Texas Treats road stories. How about
There
that?
you go. Well, he didn't have to do anything. He was the cool one.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all know this, but Marvel was always the cool one of the Texas streets. I'm always the one trying to get approval from everyone. So I'm the one, hey, you need me to bump in the street for you? All right there. Can I get back in the van? Thanks. I appreciate it.
Next time. I'm your host, JC. Now, we do have a sign off on the WrestleCast is that I'll say pro wrestling is real, and you just join me in saying people are fake. That is our sign off here. So,
That's kind of pretty true because if you think about it, everybody wears a lucha mask in real life. You just can't see it.
ooh, that's deep.
Now I'm preaching.
So thank you again, Don Juan, for the Countdown City WrestleCast. Always remember, heels and babyfaces, pro wrestling is real. People are fake.
Wait, I thought I was saying that.
We say
Why
it
are you
together.
saying it?
We say it together.
Oh, what? We gotta
We'll
say
try
it
this
better
again?
than- you gotta say it better than that. Oh, no, people are thinking.
Okay.
All right,
All right.
go. Come on.
Till next time, pro wrestling is real.
People
are
fake.